on a show, you just look at him, you think, Jesus,
Massive,
he just looks so good, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Plus, I think he looks better in the ring as well, like his movement.
Yep.
Better than he was when he was doing the TNA stuff. So, I mean, that's just my preference. Like, when I watch him now, I prefer to watch him now than I did then. And that's, like, not shitting on what he did. I just feel like he's more comfortable doing it this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Doug's awesome. You know, I'll be honest, when I first met Doug, I thought he was boring. Honestly, and I've told Doug this, you know, I thought he was boring. But I think that's because he was doing the American stuff, and he was good, but he really found his niche because he looks British, he talks British, you know, he's a well-spoken guy. So all that fit together perfectly for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, now, one of the things, and it's great that you've agreed to talk about this, if you've got you as a friend on Facebook, you would notice there's definite periods in your life where it's fair to say you suffer with depression, yeah?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice you want to speak about it because I think this goes hand in hand with wrestling, to be honest with you. I think you'll find a lot of people in wrestling do wrestling to I think, become another person.
Yes, oh, definitely. Because my depression's probably been about 10 years. But I was always, I used to hide it really, really well. But like when people used to meet me and be like, oh, he's such a nice person, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden I have this down period and they'd be like, what's up with you, you freak? And then I'd snap out of it and then I'd disappear and then, you know, kind of come back and acting all nice again. Because, you know, I hated that stigma of, well, if I tell somebody I've got, you know, I'm having suicidal thoughts, they'll think I'm a freak, or they'll send me to the doctors and I'll have to take more medication. And it just wasn't nice. And definitely being in wrestling, because, you know, what do we get? We get like 15, 20 minutes of a match where we can literally be who we want. We can forget about, you know, girlfriend problems, wife problems, kid problems, money problems. As soon as you get in that ring, for 15, 20 minutes, that world does not exist. You're inside this bubble with wrestling and, you know, you enjoy it so much. You're on such a high because, you know, I finished my job, my full-time job in the summer because I fucking hated it. They were horrible people. I was there for 10 years. They made my life hell. But I used to go away Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. Used to get home like Monday morning at 2 a.m. Such a high, and I think to myself, I've got to try and come down now. My alarm goes off at 6 a.m, and then all of a sudden I go to this job, and I'm a nothing.
You're Pip Cartner again.
Yeah, and I hated myself because I didn't feel like I was good enough to do anything. I was just, I'm just wasting my days in this job, but it pays money, you know, it pays rent. But then all I wanted to do is I wanted to waste my life so much and wait for the weekend and go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, be this alter ego of myself that I think just before my eldest lad was born, so we're about nearly 6 years ago, I couldn't tell which one was Bubblegum or which one was Pip anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was treating people so badly and horrible, and people just didn't understand, because it's like the come down from the high of wrestling. I don't think anything competes with it. You know, the rush of performing, and then when you're going home and, you know, you're trying to relax and you're trying to have a come down, it's kind of like, it's hard. And then all of a sudden your alarm goes off and you feel utter shit. You just think, what's the point anymore?
Yeah. And,
you know, if it wasn't for my kids, I honestly don't think I would be here, because I've had many suicidal attempts. You know, I wouldn't know what to do if my kids weren't here. I don't think I'd be in this happy position I was now.
Yeah.
Because, you know, because in my normal job, well, my full-time job I used to build lifts for disabled people. Okay. And when I started it was so much fun. They were so nice. You could take your portable DVDs in. You know, I used to watch the wrestling and stuff and do my job, you know, have a laugh. until new owners came in. There was like no radios, no headphones. They changed all the layouts about. So I was basically staring at a wall for 10 hours, building these little components, and I just lost, all my happiness. As soon as I walked in, I just thought, fuck me, this is hard. And I have a really bad attention span. I probably can concentrate for about 2 or 3 hours, and then all of a sudden, just like, I'm bored now, I just want to go. But with my anxiety as well, because I was confined in this space, being around people that who weren't, like, they were a lot older than me, like in their 50s, they were like ready for retire. They were like, everything that I was into, they didn't like. They were just like, oh, it's football, or the gardening and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, how can you have a conversation with someone that you have nothing in common with? So it was kind of like, I used to hate going in there. I used to, pretend I was sick or make myself sick, just so I can get sent home. But it got to a point where I was just like, I just didn't want to be here anymore. And then, like I said, like, I didn't know which one was Pip, which one was Bubblegum. And then people were just like, God, you're such an ego. You got this ego about yourself. But I prefer to be Bubblegum because people liked him. People like looked up to him and be like, oh, I want to be like you if I was a wrestler. But then as soon as I became Pip, everyone was like, they didn't give a shit. I was just Pip.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard, but like this summer was like the actual breaking point for me. I was having really, really bad because he changed my medication a lot. My doctors do. And they were like, oh, we've got these new drugs for you. You can try, if not, you don't like them, then you go back to your old stuff. So I took this new stuff. And for a day, I don't remember because I was out of it. And then when I woke up, my mum had to throw cold water on me because I wasn't waking up. She thought I was dead. Wow. Because I took these medication. I had a drink. I didn't know, usually I could have like a cider. And on my medication, I'd be fine. I'd be a bit tipsy, but I'd feel a bit happy. But apparently, I had this full cider on these new tablets, and I was comatose. I was out of it. And then when she kind of woke me up, and she was like, "Everyone's been worried about you." And I was like, "What do you mean, everybody?" And she was like, "What you put on your Facebook?" I was like, "I don't remember anything." So I was like, checked my phone. My phone was on flight mode for some reason. Whipped it on as soon as Wi-Fi came in. I think I had like 200 odd inboxes because I literally wrote on my status that that's it, I'm going to kill myself.
You did, I remember, yeah.
And I took a week off work because I had to do a course really, like for self-harming and stuff like that. Because I used to nick the bottom of my feet. Okay. Just because nobody knew, no one could see it, but I felt it every time I walked.
What does that do for you to self-harm?
For me, it was kind of like I had these pains in my head. I wanted to feel pain somewhere else for a bit, just so it could take away from my brain. Uh-huh. So it's like every time I walked, I was like, "Oh fuck me, that's killing me." So my brain was always focusing on that pain rather than the issues in my head. Yeah. So, which thinking back now, it's kind of silly, but it was like a short-term fix. Well, not even short-term. It's probably like an hour.
It's not silly, is it? It's the state that people can get themselves into, and because it's not a physical thing like a broken arm or a broken leg. People can't see it, can they? And
no.
Unless you've had it, I've been there myself. Maybe not to the point that you have. It's very difficult to understand.
Yeah, definitely. And from that point, it was like when you said that, like it's difficult for people who are not in that boat. I had a week off work, and then when I came back into work, my bosses were dickheads. Like they were just like, "Oh, you're faking it again." I was like. I already felt shit, and it's like all of a sudden I'm getting this, and then I was taken to the office, and he was like, "Well, I see that you were wrestling at the weekend." I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, so you can wrestle, but you can't come to work." I was like, "No, but my doctor has specifically said being at wrestling gives me a high. It puts me in a positive mood. Just like they've paid for a month's gym membership for some people who have mental issues, because it releases, good vibes in your body.
Yeah.
And he turned around and just went, "You're taking the piss." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Is this on record, this conversation?" He was like, "No, this is off the record, but you're taking the piss, and I think tomorrow you should come in and you should hand in your notice." And I was like, I thought to myself, he's going to laugh in a minute and just be like, "No, I'm fucking with you." And he goes, "Go back to work now." So I literally walked out and I thought, I'm not having this. I am not feeling so belittled by a person who, within those walls at that work, he felt like he was a bigger person.
Yeah.
But as soon as you go outside of the walls, he wouldn't say boo to a goose. Mm-hmm. And then I realized to myself, it's like, is that what I was like at wrestling? Because I was in wrestling, I was a different person. When I'm outside of wrestling, I'm just me. And I thought to myself, maybe he has the kind of that power when he's inside that walls of that company. He's all big and mighty, but as soon as he goes out, you'd never hear from him, you never see him. So I just thought to myself, I'm not being in this place where, because it would kill me. Because it was getting to a point where people were saying stuff behind my back. I was losing my temper. I already had a run-in with the police through my temper. And I just thought, I'm not going to ruin my future, just for people that don't matter. So I handed my notice in, and it was, honestly, this is the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I'm getting back on my feet, and next year I want to get back. I want to do my PT course. I want to train to be a lifeguard. Right. And then hopefully, because, I'm thinking about getting a ring myself, not to say that I'm opening up a school, but I want to kind of a center where people can come, have a wrestler, just like, learn from. If they want to learn from me, that's fine. I won't put it out there and say this is the best school in the world. It's just that, I love to give back what people gave to me to them.
Yeah.
So
it makes sense, doesn't it, to see why people can never get out of wrestling.
Definitely, yeah. But I think I prefer that the other side of wrestling with the teaching rather than performing.
Yeah.
Obviously, because as soon as you do like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I have double duties, I did like 6 shows last weekend, and as soon as I woke up Monday morning, I was like, I cannot move. I spent a day with like ice packs everywhere, having hot baths and then icing up again. So I just think, fucking, I don't know how long I can keep doing this. But
and how are you now? Are you? I just want to stress to anyone listening as well. I have not coerced you into talking about this. You were quite happy to maybe help some other people that may be listening. Yeah.
Yeah, because I won't name names, but a lot of people do message me and saying like, I'm having a downtime. Can we have a talk? And it's kind of like, it's nice that people, because I'm so open with it. I did wrong. Publicly putting stuff on there because people say, it's just attention seeking. Yes, it is, because I needed help.
Yeah, absolutely.
People still turn around and was like, I fucking hate it. It's just attention seeking. But that's the stigma, that people can't open up because they think that people will judge them for attention seeking and won't take it seriously. So when they inbox me, because they know I'm so open about things, they can open up. And, people have told me very dark secrets, and it's so nice that they would trust me with it, because I think they know that even if we fell out, or they knew I'd never use it against them, because they know a lot about me. So it's kind of like that trust. So yeah, it's like, I don't think you should ever be ashamed of it, but I think it's more about what you can change in your life, because people can say, go on this course, take this medication, do this, but you need to have the willpower to change. And for me, it was kind of like, I got rid of negatives in my life, because I was given like a list of, these are the things that you hate, this is the things that you love, and it's like, just cross off those negatives, get rid of them. So it was like my job, certain people in my life, they were gone. And it's like money issues. It's kind of like, we all have money issues that will never change. So it's like, stop dwelling on it and just kind of have a better plan. And since the summer, I've not